Okay, in your notebook, I need to first open the next clean page and title it 1-6 inverse. So this right here should be the title of your next clean page. Then I need you to find your 1-6 inverse notes, and that's where we will start today. Okay, so we're not going to have time to do the painted hand activity in this class today, but we will probably do it tomorrow. So what the key thing, and you can look on the board to the right of the whiteboard, and you can see that I did it last period. And the key thing to note is that we learned that to find inverse, the key thing you do is switch X and Y. So that is the most important thing, is you just switch X and Y. So if you have a point 3, 7, the inverse would be 7, 3. If you had a point 2, -1, the inverse would be -1, 2. You literally just switch X and Y. So what we're going to do next is look at various situations in which we might see inverse that we would need to find. So the first one is if I give you an equation and I ask you to find the inverse also in an equation. So the first equation I'm going to give is y equals 3x plus 1. So there's our original equation, and we want to find the inverse of that. So the step 1 is going to be switch X and Y, just like the whole key of inverse. So X equals 3Y plus 1. So that's this first step, switch X and Y. Now that's not usually how we like equations. We like equations into Y equals. So our next step will be solve for Y. Okay, so once we know we need to solve for Y, I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. So now I have X minus 1 equals 3y, and from there I'm going to divide both sides by 3, or by -3 in this case. Oh no, just by +3, sorry, for +3. So my answer is y, and I put to the -1 because that means inverse. Y equals 1/3 x minus 1/3. So my original equation was y equals 3x plus 1, and the inverse is y to the -1 equals 1/3 x minus 1/3. We can check this in our calculator. So let's do that. Okay, so I'm going to go find my calculator. And I already have these entered in, so, oh no I don't, just kidding. So I have 3x plus 1 was my equation, and then I found my inverse to be 1/3 x minus 1/3. Okay, and then I'm also graphing y equals x. And I'm going to change my window back to a standard window and graph that. Okay, so one of the options you can do is you can change it to a zoom square, which makes your window kind of a square. And so the key here would be if I could fold my calculator screen up on this solid line, it would be symmetrical. So I know that these two functions are inverses of one another because they would be symmetrical. So right here I have this line and this line are my two originals, and if I could fold it along this dotted line, they would match up. So they are, in fact, inverses of one another. Okay, so back to next scenario. So the next one is an equation to a graph. So the first equation I'm going to give you is y equals 1/4 x plus 4. Okay, so and I want to find the inverse of that. So one of the easiest ways is to type it in our calculator and look at the table, and then just switch the x and y's. So look at table, switch x and y. So let's go back to our calculator. So this time our equation is, let me clear these other ones out of the way. One-fourth x plus 4. So if I look at the table, just pick some ordered pairs. So 0, 4, and 4, 5. So the inverse of those would be 4, 0, and 5, 4. So back over here, I need to do 4, 0, and 5, 4. So right here, I'm going to do 4, 0, and 5, 4. So those are some dots, connect them, and now I have my inverse graph. So you could also find what that equation is, but all you needed to do was just find the graph. So once again, we looked at the table, and we got 2 ordered pairs and switched them. You could find 3 ordered pairs or 4 and keep switching them to make sure you had a good line. All of that would be a good idea. So for the next one, now we need graph to graph. So I'm going to give you a graph, and this one is not going to be one that you can use your calculator for at all. So here is the graph I'm going to give you. So the first ordered pair. So I'm going to write the ordered pairs down, and then I'm going to have you find the inverse of this picture. So once again, you won't be using your calculator. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, negative 4. 5, 4. 0, 0, and 2, 2, 8. Now I want you to find the inverse of that and graph it. Okay, so to find the inverse, this is an easy one. All you're going to need to do is, once again, switch x and y. That's the key here. So now let's graph switching x and y. So you're going to take negative 8, negative 4, and do negative 4, negative 8. Okay, right there. Then you're going to take 5, 4, and do 4, 5. Oh, shoot, that should have been negative, sorry. So negative 5, 4, negative 5. Okay, the next one is the origin, and then the next one is 8, 2. Okay, so that is the inverse, and if you sketched them on the same graph, it would look something like this, and you can see that those would be inverses. Finish this. Okay, so you can see right here that if I did my dashed line, and this is just a sketch, but those would be symmetrical. Okay, now our last one is actually the easiest one we do, and, oh wait, just kidding. First we have graph to inverse equation, so then we have the last one. So if I give you a graph, and I'm going to say that this right here is negative 3, 0, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 0, 6. Okay, and here's the graph. So in this case, the very best thing to do, once again, switch x and y. That's pretty much always the start. So my ordered pairs would be 6, 0, and 0, negative 3. And then we're going to use the stat function in our calculator to come up with an equation. So this would be L1, and this would be L2. And I think the equation should be y equals 1/2 x I think +3. I'm not sure. Y'all check me on that one because I didn't do it. So use your stat and check this and see if I am right. Okay, the last one is the easiest one, and it's if we have a set of ordered pairs and we want to find the inverse of these ordered pairs. So here's my ordered pairs. Let's say we have 1, 3, 6, 8, and -4, 10. Okay, so what's been the key this whole lesson? Someone say it. Switch X and Y. So to find these ordered pairs inverses would be 3, 1, 8, 6, and 10, -4. Okay, so hopefully we have figured out how to find inverse in all kind of situations. The key here, once again, is switch X and Y. Switch X and Y, that's the most important part. And now I want you to be spending the rest of the class working on the practice. The answers to the practice will be on Edmodo this evening, and I will also have time to answer questions tomorrow before our quiz. So thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day.